The sun comes up, I think about you. The coffee cup, I think about you. I want you so, it's like I'm losing my mind.
Welcome to this bonus episode of The Little Things You Hear Together, where we typically dive deep into Broadway cast albums to figure out why some hit harder than others. I'm Alex Asp, and my guests today are Joshua Hinck and Scott Wasserman, creators of the iconic album Losing My Mind, a Sondheim Disco Fever Dream. I'm so excited to have you here.
Thanks for having us.
Hello.
I have been obsessed with this album since I first heard it, and to have the chance to learn more about it is very exciting for me. It's like you wrote this and created it specifically for me. It's so perfect in matching my tastes.
Well, thank you. I'm glad you enjoy it. It's definitely something that fits our tastes and our quirky, musical sensibilities. So we're happy that it resonates with other people too.
Love it. You're both very firmly in the world of both music and theater, and so many credits between you that we'd probably double the length of the episode if I tried to list them all. But I'm curious to hear more about how the two of you started collaborating together.
Yeah, absolutely. I was first introduced to Scott by his now wife, Megan. I was looking for an arranger for a cabaret that I was doing, and I had a couple ideas that I needed to see come to life, and Megan connected the two of us, and this was a pretty short amount of time. I was living in Japan at that point, and went back and forth, and it was such an easy and joyful collaboration. And I think from that point, any chance I had, any project that I could bring Scott on for was always going to be the first first choice there for me.
Yeah, well, the reason that I think we clicked and that we kept finding new ways to work together was that the first types of arrangements that Joshua had asked me to collaborate with him on were mashups of songs that didn't necessarily go together. That was sort of the beginning of our working relationship, putting together TV theme songs with musical theater songs, with disco songs, with, just a lot of the things that were already in Joshua's musical wheelhouse. And we used those early arrangements, I think, as the trial run and the test case for what ended up being the Disco Sondheim album as a larger idea. And it's just really creatively stimulating and a fun puzzle to try and figure out, okay, how do I successfully keep the integrity of these two disparate genres and put them together in a way that an audience member can recognize what is happening with these two songs happening at once, but then also feel like the resulting product is still something satisfying.
Yeah, and you both definitely have many hats that you wear in your life on this album, because this album was released by Broadway Records in 2020, and the two of you were the producers. You did the arrangements, you did the orchestration. Joshua, you're also performing. You're doing all sorts of things. So this really is your baby between the two of you.
It is, yes. Yeah, I think the self-production of it was a big thing for us. Before it was an album, we did do it as a live concert, too, at the Green Room 42. And we knew exactly where we wanted to take it into the recorded format. And obviously, at a certain point, we had to expand the family a bit to get in the person who mixed the album, Will Hensley, the mastering engineer, Joe Lambert, all of the musicians, Broadway Records to help, release it for us. But up to that point, we really kept it close, yes. I think, because we knew in order to get the point across, we had to hit certain benchmarks in the type of arrangement that we were doing, the type of vocal arrangement, orchestration.
Yeah, because if you get too many cooks in the kitchen, you lose that unique voice that is such an integral part of why this album works so well, is that it is weird as hell in the best way with a very specific vision, and that would easily get watered down by bringing in too many other people, so get that for sure.
Yeah, thanks.
So do you know exactly how many unique Sondheim songs you used to compile this album? Because it's a lot.
We do know the exact number, and it's somewhere in the 40s. I think it was 40 7?
I think that's right. Yeah. Yeah. It's in the upper 40s.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I love, some of these tracks are one song for the whole track. Some are a mashup of two songs or three, and then some are just a whole bunch of things all thrown together. And that's my favorite, just because it's the most impressive of how you found the puzzle pieces. Because like you have 10,000 puzzles all thrown together, and you have to find the right pieces from each one to make a picture. It's not even just one puzzle. And
Yeah.
I wish I could do the arranging that you do, because I would have a lot of ideas of what I would like, but alas, that is not my gift.
I remember our first meeting about this project. We were sitting at a coffee shop, and it was, loosely inspired from the Ethel Merman disco album and Liza Minnelli's collab with the Pet Shop Boys, and then kind of going, all right, we love disco, we love Sondheim. Can we see this a little bit further? And as the ideas were coming out, a lot of that was like, okay, well, like, what if this is swirled in with this? And I don't remember if it was you, Scott, that said, like, well, it's kind of like a Sondheim Disco Fever Dream of sorts. And we both stopped and we're like, oh,
That's exactly what it is.
that's the title.
Yeah. I also remember that meeting, and a lot of it was just figuring out, if we have different medleys and different mashups, which are the types of themes that we would want to focus on per mashup. So I know one that did not make the album that we still talk about is like songs about food in different Sondheim shows. And there's a lot of them.
Yeah.
But we took that idea and we went a little bit broader. We were like, well, songs about unrequited love, or songs about searching for something. So, and like those became the real categories that we then distilled and pulled all of the references from each song individually to have as a piece, or have it as a topic together. But we actually still are thinking about like, oh, if we ever did a second album or an expansion of this, like what would the other categories be? And food is still on the table. I think.
Perfect.
I think
There are
I've
a
got
lot.
at least 3 pages of my journal, and I can't read my handwriting, but there's food circled, and then, God, that's good. And
Yeah, I was curious how much it was just kind of realizing, hey, these songs go together well, and building the theme from there, or starting from the top of, we want this theme, and here are the songs that we can get to fit into that. So
It was more that, I think, and actually figuring out how the songs would then fit together was the second step.
Yeah.
We knew which ones we wanted to use, and then it was like, what can we do to actually make it work? And I think that was probably something that made for more exciting arrangements in the end, rather than saying which songs musically will work together best first, because I think maybe that's less exciting.
yeah, and within the themes that you chose, there are certainly plenty of Sondheim songs to choose from in that theme, so then you can find the ones that work together musically well, or
Right.
ones that you just really love the idea of putting them together and you make it work, which is also fun.
Yeah.
yeah, and then also finding the, subsection of disco thematically that matched with the unrequited love, with the sexual energy and tension on the dance floor, and going, okay, we love these disco artists. Where does that fit over in what we're doing with these arrangements?
Yeah, and I think that consideration was more about the actual musical energy and feel of the disco genre, and then matching that with the Sondheim, lyrical and dramaturgical, thrust. So, the feel of Donna Summer's, I Feel Love, like, how does that connect with what's happening story-wise in Sunday in the Park with George,
Yeah. And that's an interesting topic as well with the kind of genre of disco, is, as with any music genre, it's not that simple. It's, subgenres within there, things that bleed over into the next one, and where is the line, if there is one, between disco and funk or disco and house. And I definitely appreciate that you were consciously trying to sample from all different areas of that, because it definitely keeps the listening experience from getting to be the same thing over and over, which is good for us as listeners.
Great. Thanks.
So I could identify all but 6 Sondheim shows being represented in the album.
Okay.
One of which being Here We Are, which of course was not out yet. The one that I'm surprised, though, is that there's nothing from Gypsy that I could find. I would have thought with the Ethel Merman
true.
inspiration that there would have been something there. Because you've got some really deep cuts in here.
Yeah, the only show that we included where Sondheim was the lyricist and not the composer was West Side Story. So Gypsy would have fit into that category too. And I think maybe we were just trying to more consciously stick to the pieces that he was also the composer. But somewhere from West Side Story just fit so perfectly into our idea of the mashup with Giants in the Sky that we couldn't leave that one out.
And really,
But yeah, you're right. Gypsy would have been fun to add. Yeah.
most of the music in that track with Somewhere There Are Giants is the Giants in the Sky part of it. So you really are mostly using the lyrics, which are his contribution. So it still tracks even that way. Well, I would love to go through these tracks and just hear some of what went through your minds as you created this. And just if anybody out there has not heard this, maybe this will inspire you to find out what you've been missing.
Let's do it.
It's like I'm losing my mind.
Once upon a time. Once upon a time. Once upon a
The first track is opening parentheses doors. It starts off, kind of the first half or so is a real medley of random everything that just works so well together, and then second half is opening doors from Merrily. And I love that we have the creepy losing my mind to open us up here, with which will then come back later, of course, to, it's the title of the album, so it makes sense to begin and end with that. And then I was reading that Chip Zien is actually the voice that does Once Upon a Time. How did that happen?
Well, do I tell the full story?
Might as well tell the full story.
Yeah. We had our blue sky dream for that cameo was to have Sondheim record himself the Once Upon a Time. So that was our initial plan. And we reached out to him, and at this point we had approval for the project and we had the rights all lined up, and this was kind of we were getting close to the finish line of mixing, and reached out and said, we think this would be a great thing if you're open to recording this. And we got a very funny and kind letter back on his stationery, basically saying thanks but no thanks, good luck with the project.
He was being very modest, actually. I think he sort of framed it saying that people don't want to hear him perform. We were like, well, we do.
We'd love that.
The people that this album is for, they want to hear it.
Right. So then we actually went to a second option, which was Patti LuPone, who also politely declined to be on the album. And then, it feels really strange to say a third option because it's amazing that we were able to get him. But we went to Chip Zien next, and he was very gracious about it and was enthusiastic and sent us multiple recordings of himself saying just those 4 words, Once Upon a Time, and in all sorts of different deliveries, boisterous and then quiet and creepy, and then we mixed a few of them together.
Yeah, we used at least 6 of them at least.
Wow.
You can hear as it's repeating from that track. I forget how many minutes the audio file he sent was, but for
long,
just
4
few
words over and over.
Yeah, but we were super, super grateful that he did it.
Oh yeah, that's so great. The first one kind of sounds like he's trying to sound like Tom Aldridge. And the first few times I listened to the album, I actually thought you'd sampled Tom Aldridge's vocals from the original album. Was that an intentional thing?
That's what I did
that he
on
was
the
trying
demo
to do?
for it, yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
The whole beginning of the mashups of all of these things, the idea came from the world of sampling and a DJ and vinyls kind of skipping and swirling around, colliding with each other before we get into the latter part of the song. And so when we did this initially, I think it was mostly like on track.
Yeah.
Using those samples from the original things, which we did not do in the recording.
No, we
was,
recorded everything new for our album. But yeah, that was the original idea. Like if you had like a CD changer and skipped between different Sondheim albums rapid fire and heard like a little bit of the opening number or overture from each, what would that feel like? Yeah.
And when I first heard about the album, I kind of assumed that that's what it would actually be. It's just more akin to the Ethel Merman disco album. It's her vocals, but then remixed and reworked into something different. And I was very pleasantly surprised to find it's all brand new, which again helps to have a more consistent vision and tone for the whole album. But it's also just letting you get different kinds of voices, and you've got quite an amazing cast of singers, musicians as well. But the singers, it's I think I read that the concert you did was you, Joshua, with Eiley, and
That's
then
correct.
you added more voices for this album. And it's great because it's such a diverse range of people and voice types, and that's a lot of fun.
We knew, like, after that, performance of presenting the concept, that as we expanded it and went into the recording process, that we wanted to make sure that the cast and also the orchestra reflected the roots of disco. So we knew that we just needed to branch out from two white people singing these songs, and really look for ways to highlight that history in the album as well.
Yeah, and I think it definitely has that effect of making it feel more authentic to the disco as a genre and its roots, being like many things in popular culture, being based in things that were appropriated from people of color, and especially trans people of color. And it's nice to hear them, doing their own thing.
Well, and also a lot of these shows in the 70s and 80s are happening at the same time that the disco genre, house genre is existing underground in these clubs. And so the exploration of what if we're exploring what these lenses look like put on top of each other was an exciting part of the project.
Yeah. I think that combined with the fact that, when Sondheim's shows originally premiered, a lot of them had majority or all white casts too. And I think some of our performers, even made comments saying, like, when I was growing up, I didn't think Sondheim was something for me to perform. Like, it's something I loved listening to, but I thought I would never get a chance to actually play this role. I'll never get a chance to perform this music. So the fact that we were able to invite them to our project and say, yes, you can sing Sondheim and you can sing it in a genre that you also love for different reasons. I think they were really excited to be a part of that. And obviously now, I think in the theater world, attitudes are shifting in the right direction, and more people are being given the opportunity to perform this music in these roles anyway. But it's cool to be a part of that shift.
Yeah, for sure. One of the things in this track that made me think that it was Tom Aldridge being sampled for Once Upon a Time is the bit with "You Wish to Have the Curse Reversed." Definitely sounds like Vanessa Williams to me. And that one is not somebody else. It's one of the primary singers for the album, correct?
Yes, that Eiley's on that.
Eiley,
Yes.
You wish to have the curse reversed? You'll need a certain potion first.
And I was like, oh, okay, so we're just sampling different Into the Woods for this. That's fun. And I'm like, oh no, these are both originally recorded for this album. That's great.
Yep.
So I did see a Playbill article from around the time that the album was published, and it mentions that there's a song from Saturday Night in this opening number. And I can't figure out what it is, and it's been driving me crazy since I read that. Are you at liberty to say?
It's actually, it's part of the overture to Saturday Night.
Okay.
And it's just an instrumental section.
Okay. I'll have to look harder for that again. Yeah, so that's
I wish I had the timestamp for you, but I don't have it.
I'll go searching for it.
We're banging on doors, shouting here again. We're risking it all on a dime. The faraway shores looking here again. The only thing left is when we know we should count to 10. We haven't got time.
The next track is There Are Giants Somewhere. So this is primarily Somewhere from West Side Story and There Are Giants in the Sky from Into the Woods. And the theme seems to be kind of dreaming and wonder and optimism for this, which is a good way to start this album. But it also starts with a really Alice down the rabbit hole type of vibe with the Step Into a Dream. It's kind of, you get thrown for a loop in the first track of, I don't know where this is heading. And now, all right, we're going to focus in and you're going to know exactly what we're doing, which is awesome. I love the homage to The Hustle as we transition into the main part of the song. How much were you thinking of specific songs as influence versus just the style as a concept and, more of a genre-wide thing?
Yeah, I think in terms of referencing the disco genres, I really did hone in on specific songs. And I think that was helpful to make sure that each track had a unique identity to it and was recognizably a different subgenre of disco, because I think it's very easy to just call something disco as a wash and then every song has the same beat and the same feel. So with things like The Hustle, that was a very conscious decision to add in the glockenspiel and the high string line and give it more of that sort of laid back dance floor quality rather than something sort of dark and driving in that moment. So it was very conscious.
There was definitely a desire to have this track feel like an invitation to the dance floor and what is a common disco dance. And, of course, The Hustle was on our minds of course. What's something that would feel like a bunch of people are hearing this song come on and they're running to the dance floor to join in on something. And
yeah, definitely. I'm not sure if you've seen them, but they have these like Broadway raves that they put on around the country. And I went to one thinking it would be more like this album, and it wasn't. It was just, they just played Broadway songs. That's not a rave, but this is exactly what I wanted that to be, is this invitation to a dance and coming in and having a whole experience. It's not just what you know, but a fun twist on what you know.
Yeah.
Time together with time to exploring things you never dare, but you don't care when suddenly there's a big, tall, terrible giant at the door. There's a place for us. A big, tall, terrible lady giant sweeping the floor. A place for us.
I was very surprised at how well the melodies of Somewhere and Giants in the Sky blend so easily with each other, and having the different voices so it's easy to pick out both songs at the same time very clearly is fun. And I definitely also appreciate that throughout the whole album there is not a staying with the original gender of the character. It is kind of just whatever voice you wanted to use for that specific moment, which adds to it being not explicitly a gay album. It feels very gay, and I love just how much fun you can have with that with different choices.
Thanks. That was also a conscious decision on our part.
Well, after I got through this whole album, I was like, I'm going to guess that pretty much everything was a very conscious choice because it's too clearly unified to happen by chance.
I'll have to think of where the unconscious choices came in too.
Yeah.
Yeah. The next song is Hello Pretty Lady / Lovely Moments by the Sea. So this is fun.
Very normal title.
Yep. I love these mashup titles. I'm curious. So the first half of this is kind of a creepy male character, and then the second half is more hopeful female character songs. And I'm curious why you left them or put them together in one track versus separating into different ones, because I'm sure, again, that was not just an oversight or an accidental thing.
Well, I'm trying to think back to that original conversation in 2018. As this was also one of the first ones. We had Miller's Son that we talked about first.
Miller's Son was definitely the first one we conceived, and then this came shortly
this was
after.
like one of the first ones, and definitely we started with the imagery of the dark, not full-on dark rooms. I'm not going, that far, but the hallways on the way to a bathroom in a dark bar with a red light, and the Hello Little Girl was the first song that came to mind with that, and we also initially were looking at it as a conversation between these two things. So we had the kind of darker, lecherous, seductive but a little dangerous bit in the beginning, coupled with a response of confidence and frivolity and joy.
And a little bit of naivete too.
Yeah.
I think throwing Lovely in there from Forum definitely brings that out to sort of lighten up what, in the context of Sweeney Todd is a little darker, but on the album doesn't feel as dark with By the Sea,
And I'm happy living lovely, for it's one thing that I can give to you. By the sea at a gate, we'll have kippered herring, what have swarmed to a string from the straits of Bering every night in the kip. When we're through our kippers, I'll be there slipping off your slippers.
But yeah, I think that was really the contrast that we wanted to play up, was exactly what Joshua just described. And I had a lot of fun with the first half of the song, the layering in of, the pretty lady from Pacific Overtures in the background vocals with the Hello Little Girl from Into the Woods. And I thought just all of those, the similarities in those characters and that sort of siren song idea that comes in was really fun to mash up.
Slow little girl, hark and hush, the birds are singing sweetly. You'll miss the birds completely. Why can't you stay? You're traveling so fleetly. I said the wonderful pretty lady with the flower. Give a lonely sailor half an hour.
And I think we also were using this as an opportunity to... This section of the album is very Into the Woods heavy, and so it's in conversation with that source material there as well, with these characters, with the callback to Moments in the Woods, to Hello Little Girl, and having that little marriage, and that's why we kept it as a plus 6 minute track. How long is this?
Yeah, it's a long one. It's this one is 5:56. Yep.
And I'm sure there are many people, myself included, that would, like to just listen to Britney sing beautifully on the second half.
Right.
But there is, as I was re-listening to the album the other day, I was like, okay, yeah, I see this journey. And I also see the argument for I would love to separate it.
Yeah.
But
there's definitely logic to having it both ways. So I appreciate that it's more cementing the firm thematic link between them by keeping them as one track. That makes a lot of sense.
And I had a good phone call before Brittany came in, who's also singing BGVs throughout the album. And I believe recorded all the background stuff first, and then her solo bit on this.
At the end of the day.
At the end of the day. Because we had such a short amount of time.
Yeah.
We were running a scrappy production on this. But
And scheduling around our singers' Broadway shows and all of that.
Yeah.
and she's such a vocal force that we really locked in on where she wanted her tone to be in her solo section of the song, pulling from the beautiful light belty mix quality of Whitney Houston, and how much freedom she would have with vocal ornamentation throughout that as well. And I think she just does an incredible job, and I could listen to her sing all day long, all the time.
Absolutely.
Right and wrong, don't
did sneak in some Whitney Houston in the transition between the two as well, which I appreciate.
Well, not officially.
Not
Yes,
officially,
it's
no, of course.
An homage.
It's an homage.
It's a quote.
Yes, it is very brief. So a lot of stuff on this album, overall, it feels like the goal is a fun disco Sondheim experience, but there are moments where it feels like there's more substance in there, and one of those that pops out to me the most is Hello Little Girl and Pretty Lady are both very obviously creepy in the context of the show, whereas Miss is supposed to be romantic, but when you slow it down to the tempo of the other two, and you're like, oh yeah, these lyrics aren't great. He's not a good guy. Oh boy. And so just kind of bringing that comparison is interesting just by changing the tempo and putting it next to these other two songs.
Promise not to retreat to the darkness back of your window. Not till you look down here. Hello. Look at me. Hello. Look at me. Hello. I feel you.
Yeah, I think we were talking about how the moment that Anthony meets or sees Joanna, it's like it's a little obsessive, it's a little stalkery.
Yeah.
Similar to the wolf looking for his meal. Like,
Yeah.
is the
Like it really is similar in more ways than you would initially think.
yeah, the sailors, the same there.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then in the second half, it's really fun to get some passion in there with Loving You. And again, the lovely, Loving You, and By the Sea all go together so sweetly and get a fun key change in there. And they sound so joyful as they're singing. Like you said, maybe somewhat naivete in that, but it
Right.
makes for a really fun listening experience.
Thanks.
There was a version, I believe, that I don't remember if it was one of us fought for Lovely to be put in there, and we didn't have it originally, and it kind of felt like, okay, well, this is enough with what we have going on. And I remember having that conversation of like, we want that hook to come in there, and I love how it.
I think it was probably you fighting for it and me saying it would be too much going on.
And I was trying to be polite.
But then I was proven wrong, and it's perfect. Yeah.
It is perfect.
But that's why I like collaborating with you, because you'll humor me. You'll humor me.
I'll always try it.
That's a good collaboration. The next track is Unworthy of Your Love. And this one doesn't have a fun mashup title, even though it is a mashup of songs. I'm curious, what was the reasoning for keeping this one just the one title?
That's a good question. I don't remember exactly why we chose to keep this one, pure as it is. But I think we really wanted to focus on the Unworthy of Your Love duet portion of this at the end of the song as like the main meat of the song and the hook and like what we were really excited about in it. And I think the rest of the material really felt more introductory, and thus there won't be trumpets material in particular. So that's probably the best justification I have. But do you remember specifically?
I think it was a mix between we don't want to exhaust somebody reading these titles with, like there's a point where you don't need every track listing to be so tongue-in-cheek or clever or a little humorous. But also in the conversation that these two performers are having, as Scott was saying, we wanted the focus to be on the Unworthy of Your Love bits, even from the beginning of having the other two leading into that.
Yeah, and I think it's fun to offer a little surprise to the
Yeah.
listener too, to make sure that the title isn't giving away all of the tricks.
For sure.
He can't wait. What's another day? He has lots of hills to climb. And the hero doesn't come till the nick of time. I am unworthy of your love, darling, darling.
Go ahead.
I was going to say, I like that, you know, if you're watching the track listings as you go along, you're then waiting and anticipating something that has not arrived yet. So there is and, you know, because Anyone Can Whistle is maybe not as well known for the like average musical theater listener who might know other Sondheim work. I think it does cause you to lean in a little bit and go like, oh, what is this?
Yeah, what is this, and how are we going to get to Unworthy of Your Love from here?
Yeah.
Like, this isn't how that starts. I don't remember that in Assassins.
Especially because Unworthy of Your Love in the original version is like a much slower paced, gentler, country tinged kind of duet, you know?
Yeah.
I am unworthy of your love, darling, darling. Let me prove worthy of your love. I'll find a way to earn your love. Wait and see. Then you will turn your love to me.
And That'll Show Him is also relatively unknown, I would say. People know Forum, but that's not the first song anyone's going to think of with Forum. So you have both of those that are kind of deeper cuts, at least. Maybe not the deepest, but that's a great way to keep people leaning forward, like you said. I like that. After that, now is Our Time, and this is our first full track that's just the one song. And and it's kind of true of all of these songs, but this is the most where I felt just changing the beat creates such a different vibe of the music and the message. And it's so interesting how simple changes can make profound impacts.
Yeah, true.
And you have so much power in that with which style you're going to choose to go with each one. You can choose exactly which feeling you want to evoke, which is, I'm sure, one of the fun things about putting this all together.
Something is stirring, is shifting ground. It just begun. Edges are blurring all around, and yesterday is done.
Very fun, yes. And this one is inspired by Michael Jackson. Want to be starting something. It's like that's the inspiration for the groove there. And this was one I was very proud. After the album came out, I got a very nice email from Michael Starobin, who's an orchestrator who worked with Stephen Sondheim a lot, did Sunday the Park with George. He's also a mentor of mine, and I've worked on a couple shows with him. And he shouted out this track in particular on the album and said that he was really surprised and thrilled by this beat and how it worked with Our Time, and he was very complimentary. So I take a lot of pride in that one.
Oh, absolutely.
It's our time, breathing in, worlds to change and worlds to win. Our turn, we want you, me and you, pal, me and you.
Yeah, he's a very, very, what's the word? He's done a lot of amazing shows that people know. So to have something like that be a fan is an amazing feeling, I'm sure.
Yes.
Next up is No One Is Alone. And this is, again, just the one song for the whole track. The biggest thing that jumps out to me is having more in the way of backup vocals really accentuates the togetherness of it's not just the four characters singing. It's a bigger community of No One Is Alone. Adding bits that aren't in the original song for the backup vocals, which is, again, just changing the feel of it without doing much to alter the song substance-wise.
Yeah, I think that part of the inspiration for that was, as little musical theater nerds growing up, I think sometimes we get so excited about those moments in shows when there is harmony and counterpoint, and you get together with your friends and you sing along to the cast album and you assign roles to each other, right? And in No One Is Alone, I remember growing up at least thinking like, oh, I wish there was more of this for us all to sing together, and we got that opportunity to kind of make it for ourselves here, but also without making it sound like a choir arrangement,
Yeah, because that doesn't go well very often. It can, but those can go south quickly.
Sometimes people leave you halfway through the woods.
what's good.
I'm obsessed with the key change in this song to the
We
point
gotta have a key change.
to the point that when I listen to any other version of No One Is Alone, I think of that key change and kind of wish it was there. Because it's just such a... I don't know. There are a lot of great key changes in this album, but that one is my favorite.
Witches can be right, giants can be good. You decide what's right, you decide what's good. Just remember, someone is on your side, our side. Someone else is not, someone else is not.
Thank you.
There's a few moments like on this album that when people go and see the show, I've like heard back and was like, oh, I was confused when that it didn't go into this part of this other song when I was watching the show. I didn't realize that that wasn't a part of this originally.
And then just tell people they need to study the original texts more.
Well, and I'm trying to remember, were all three of these vocal lines were recorded separately throughout the day?
That is true
I
on
think,
this one.
You know, and I just love how they were able to layer on and listen and respond to each other, but it did take a lot of work in the studio of making sure that we were clocking the moments that needed to be in sync.
Right. Yeah, that's something that Joshua and I were reflecting on before we started recording with you today, is just that this album was recorded very piecemeal, with all of the singers separate as per their availability, with the orchestra split in half into two sessions, rhythm section and then strings, and
In one day.
in all one day with two halves of the day. Yep. And so the process of then recompiling everything and then mixing everything was pretty intense.
Yeah. Did many of your singers have relationships with each other, whether that's just having worked together before or friendships? Because they really end up sounding like they are more than just coming in on their own and singing their line and leaving.
Some of them, yes. The three backup singers did all record together. That was
We knew
Brittany,
that, yeah.
Vishal, and Oni. And then Joshua and Eiley got to record together for a good portion of it. And then Deontay and Juwan Impress now, they sing together. They were both in Aladdin together at the time, and
Okay.
sang Our Time together. So yeah, there definitely were those relationships and moments to all come together. But then, yeah, the rest of it was sort of the necessary evil of scheduling, putting them in individually.
Yeah, and I don't think Blaine and Allison knew each other or had worked together before.
Right.
But they recorded together, and that was really fun for both of them. Charity and I have worked together before, and it's always great to be in a room with her, and she will throw down always.
Yep. And then I brought Anissa in. Anissa had actually done a show with my wife, and that's how we met. And now Anissa and I have done other projects together since. So, yeah, it's just a great group of people.
Yeah.
Which we've not all been in the same room together ever.
Because we were hoping to have a post-album release party or concert, and COVID threw a wrench in that.
Yeah.
So,
Oh boy. The end of the song, I love that it matches the show by not finishing the line, unlike some of the cast albums which will finish the song. But it's so haunting to have it go out with the two octaves singing that upper register. Is just, it adds a more, I don't know, kind of melancholy feel to it, which is matched in I love when the arrangements and the performances are so clearly aligned.
it's great. Thank you.
Well, and a lot of what leads into that, and some of the tracks we had great debate about where they would fall in the album, but there are, what do you call them? Sections, chapters to this fever dream of sorts that we were looking at it as a DJ spinning a whole set that would transition into the next song seamlessly. So there's a lot of that. The transitions we paid a lot of attention to.
Yeah, we definitely didn't want to butt in every song, and we also wanted to play into that fever dream idea of, like, the dream just continues and you can't escape.
Yeah.
And even moments like the end of No One Is Alone, which like was a beautiful, sweeping, positive sounding track, does end more scary and dangerous and melancholy. Like there's always that juxtaposition of the darkness and light,
Yeah, I mean, all of the transitions on this are fantastic to really keep it moving. Like I said, a dream is going to be shifting, not stop here and then start here. So it keeps that vibe going the entire time. And in this instance, we're ending on that kind of very, not hollow, but very sparse orchestration and the vocal lines in octaves. And that sets up the Miller Son as the next track so well.
Someone is on your side.
And I think this is probably my favorite track, just especially as the song goes on. The fun that Eiley is having is fantastic.
She delivers such a good performance here. Yeah.
Because it starts off fairly conventional, both in terms of the arrangement and her performance, and then it gets a little bit more club disco funk as we go along. And by the end, she's just wailing, and it is amazing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
this was the first one we knew we wanted to have, and we wanted that grand orchestral disco feel.
MacArthur Park was the big inspiration for this one. Yep.
Yeah, and the brass section is really something.
Our 2-person brass section.
Yep,
They did a great job.
Did a great job.
It's a wink and a wiggle and a giggle on the grass, and I'll trip the light fandango. A pinch and a diddle in the middle of what passes by. It's a very short road from the pinch and the punch to the punch and the pouch and the pension. It's a very short road to the 10,000th lunch and the belch and the grouch and the sigh.
Yeah, and I think like because this was the first one we did, it follows a little bit more of an expected form where it starts out as the Sondheim song as you might recognize it and then becomes disco. And I think that was a good learning experience for us to then say, okay, well, they can't all follow this form, right? But this one worked because it was unique in that way.
For I shall marry the Prince of Wales, pearls and servants and dressing for festivals. Friday nights with him all entails. We'll have dancing. Meanwhile, it's a riff and a bustle and a rustle in the hay and a pitch, the quick fantastic, with flames of confetti in my petticoats way up high.
And it also gives the listener that break of trying to guess what everything is all of the time.
Yep.
Like,
Yeah.
they can relax and enjoy this moment. And especially like coming out of our time, No One Is Alone, these standalone songs gives a little bit of a pause for the trying to figure out what the puzzle going together was.
Yeah, because after Miller's Son, we go into a lot more wild medley.
Oh, yes. And the first of that is Artists Are Bizarre. And this is great. One of the interesting takeaways for me from this is I was never the biggest fan of TikTok from Company. It just is one that I would typically skip when listening to Company. And the way it's used in this song has made it a lot more something that I enjoy. Because if nothing else, if I'm listening to a Company album all the way through, I can at least think of the disco version of it and be like, all right, this is fine still. This is good.
Wow, that is nice.
He's so nice.
Oh, God.
Oh dear.
Oh,
Oh,
I like that.
I know.
This one, I mean, I'm really happy that we put in the effort to do this. It was very difficult to achieve recording this and with all the different parts.
Oh yeah.
It's a difficult arrangement to begin with, and then rearranging it for this ensemble and making sure that it worked well within the context of splicing it with these other little songs. It was a tough project, but I think TikTok in the original already has such a wonderful orchestral disco adjacent kind of feel, and the orchestration that Jonathan Tunick did for it is absolutely incredible. So I wanted it to be there as an homage to his work and to the fact that Sondheim scores are orchestral masterpieces in their own right, you know.
Absolutely.
And this, like Opening Doors in the beginning, when we initially did it, started out as a sample, swirling samples going around.
Yep.
And
with the working title Weird Stuff Transition.
Yes.
Before we called it Artists Are Bizarre. But that was the inspiration, was just pull out what are like the weirdest little snippets from every show.
But what are the skipped tracks on, you know, a Sondheim album?
exactly.
Maybe the most skipped track ever, The Letter from Sweeney Todd. Like, all
Which
the
I will
things
fight to be
include.
in every production
Yeah.
ever.
Actually, it was wonderful in the last Broadway revival. It was really well done.
It should always be there.
It was funny when I was watching the last Broadway revival. There was a point in the song where I was like, oh, I don't know this part is which. Oh, it's because I know the first half more from the disco album. And then it doesn't include the whole song, so I'm like, oh, I should pay attention to this other half more.
Right. That's funny.
I venture thus to write you this urgent note to warn you that the hot-blooded young sailor has abducted your ward, Joanna.
But this one, would you say this one was the hardest one to record? Well, this was also when we had the runaway, like, track skipping a beat or something happened at
Well,
the end of the day.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
This we recorded everything to a click track because we had to then edit and splice everything together, and recording the rhythm section to the click track over the big accelerando that happens over the course of the end of TikTok was really, really difficult to line up. And I think it was, yes, we were trying to like adjust the pace of the accelerando, but then we lost a beat, and so it was just technically very difficult.
While also making it sound as though it was the sample of the original, and while recording it new, you know.
Yeah.
Because were we to have sampled directly, which we did look at for a few moments on this album,
We looked at the option of it. Yeah.
would have been astronomically out of the budget that we were working on.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
So
Artists are bizarre, fixed, cold. That's you, George, you're bizarre, fixed, cold. I like that in a man, fixed, cold. God, it's hot out here.
One of the things that I appreciate throughout this whole album, really, but this is where it really starts to come to light more, is Joshua, you do a lot of modifying your voice to have different characters throughout the album. And it took until I was kind of looking at the actual, like, who sings each one. I'm like, oh, these are all Joshua. This sounds like different people singing these different songs. And especially in Artists Are Bizarre and Color and Light, which is next, I love the fun that you're having as George.
well, thank you. Yeah, when we did this with just Eiley and I, there was a lot that I was doing, like both of us. And the one that like we met and was like, what do you want to do on this album for sure? And I was like, Color and Light, definitely. Because Sunday in the Park is probably one of my favorite shows. And just as an artist I feel it deeply anytime that I listen or watch that. And getting to put my queer little spin on this album was very fun and special, and I think we had a good time. There was a lot of no, Scott, I need it to sound more like it's behind club doors, and
Yeah, I was just really excited for this to be sort of a showpiece for Joshua and a real moment for him to shine on the album, especially as the co-creator of the album, not just a performer on the album. I wanted people to have this be like an 11 o'clock number moment, and something really special. So it was definitely worth taking the time that we did with this one. And we took a lot of time in the vocal booth with this one, doing a lot of different takes and figuring out, like you said, how to communicate the joy, how to make sure it was like coming through, that it was being, acted and not just sung, and Joshua did such a good job with this. I love it.
Yeah. And also in this song, we get another imitation-ish of Dean Jones and Susan Browning doing the spoken bits in TikTok, which I appreciate, because that's part of what annoys me about the original is just I don't need the spoken bits on top, but just the way that you change it a little bit to be very reminiscent of them, but not exactly the same, I think also helped me to not mind it as much. So thank you for that.
We recorded that in this room.
We did. So some of the recordings actually happened, post the big sessions with everyone as like, almost like ADR and
Yeah, we're
film
doing
or
some
whatever,
pickups and-
pickup recordings, and we did them in my office.
Perfect. And near the end of the song, a big influence now is Simple from Anyone Can Whistle, which is chaotic in the original show on its own. So it makes sense to have that be part of building the chaos here. And it's very satisfying to have everything be getting more and more muddled and chaotic, and then to have those big high chords, the vocals at the end. I can feel like in my mind's eye, see Don McKechnie doing high kicks to those last notes, and I love it.
Yep.
I mean, again, shout out to our singers because Brittany's range was used, I think, from extremes. I don't know if there's a note that we didn't use from her.
It's true.
In this recording session.
Well, she's got it, so might as well make the most of what she can do.
Yeah.
Watch cry, watch cry, watch cry, watch cry. 1 is 1, 2 is 2. Who is what and which is who?
Who is what?
What is what? Which is who? Which is who? Which is who? Is who?
The next song is Color and Light, and this has a very different feel to it compared to a lot of what's been on the album before. And I love that the style of bass that you chose for the subgenre matches very well with the pointillism of the Sunday in the Park with George musical motifs throughout the show. And it just creates this, it's familiar while also being very new and distinct, which is not easy to do.
Thanks. Yeah. This one was, very Donna Summer influenced, but like you said, we were consciously referencing the pointillism, referencing the like chromaloom textures from the original. This was a really fun one to conceive.
More red, more blue, more beer. More light, color and light. There's only color and light.
And it's so this is only one song for the track, but this one song has so many different sections to it that it still kind of ends up feeling like a medley, just because that's how it is in the show. So you kind of get to have your cake and eat it too a little bit there. That's nice.
Yeah. And I would say this is another one that the vocal arrangement was, the background vocal arrangement was really fun to create because it is so different from the original, and was also very difficult for the singers, but they did a great job.
Yeah, I mean, the way that you use those vocals makes it much more dreamlike with the light, light, light kind of that coming in. It keeps us on the track that we're going to get to the next song. But
Yeah, the pulling of the chromaloom as club lights, as the lasers that you see in a club wall, and all the senses kind of coming together into one track was our goal at the outset for this.
Yeah, I really love the section where Joshua, you are doing the blue green, and it's pretty much just the beat under you. And then when
Yeah.
you get to Sunday and the orchestra comes back in with that huge chord,
But no, 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 George, finish the hat, have to finish the hat first. Hat, hot, it's hot in here.
and it's such a great moment that then leads into the weirdness that we're about to have.
Yeah. Let's get into it.
It's hot up here and the city on fire. So this is the true chaos of the album, and I love it so much. Right now it could be in Catch the Jellicle Ball. It's that feel very much. A lot of more kind of house music in the style. And listening to it, I realized that I had never actually paid much attention to the lyrics of City on Fire and how messed up they are. Like Hunchbacks and all
they're
these
bizarre.
things. Because when it's an ensemble singing those, especially the original Broadway cast, it's not super clear. And if you're not trying to listen for the lyrics, you may not get all of them. But here, it's just individuals doing these weird lyrics. And you're like, oh my, this is strange.
City on fire, hunchbacks dancing, stirrings in the ground, and the whirring of giant wings. Watch out, look, blotting out the moonlight, thick black rain.
See, I told you they were odd.
I put on rouge today.
It's hot up here.
It's hot up here.
Rats in the streets and the lunatics yelling at the moon. It's the end of the world. The city on fire. Hunchbacks kissing sons at the grave and screaming at the giant wings.
So you're really making use of a lot of different kinds of voices to be different people in the painting to be arguing with each other. And the theme of heat, fire and hot up here, they work well together. But I love the way that the actors or the singers are acting their lines here is so different from the context of the original. Like such a blasé, it's the end of the world. I love those. It's such a different way of thinking about, again, a song that a lot of people would skip, and some revivals have even skipped with City on Fire. Mm-hmm. So when you're picking things like this, how much were you intentionally trying to get these deep cuts versus they just happen to fit what you were looking for with the theme?
Well, the entry point for this track was the image of a gay bar, a drag bar backstage as the queens are putting their makeup on, having a little bitch session.
Reading each other. Yep.
And I think just naturally the City on Fire and Hot Up Here, the speech-like quality of that really lended itself in a way. Like there's a sense of complaint and a sense of, using City on Fire and heat and, oh, what if it's like so hot backstage that they're sweating their makeup off, and like that's hello car. That's where the imagery began for this chaos, and we wanted some house on the album as well.
Yeah.
It's hot up here, a lot up here. It's hot up here, forever. A lot of fun. It's not up here. It's hot up here, no matter what.
And like we mentioned earlier, we wanted to have something that clearly brought in the LGBT influence on disco and house. And this beat was inspired a bit by Sylvester, You Make Me Feel Mighty Real, and also diss tracks, bitch tracks that drag queens have made. But I think the fact that there are some deep cuts thrown in here wasn't necessarily on our mind as much with this one. It was more just about what fit the theme.
Yeah, I love it. So when I first heard this album and I was like, oh, I love this, I sent it to a friend of mine and he's like, that song nearly gave me a panic attack because it's so chaotic, and he's like, I had to skip to the next track. Like, yeah, I can see that. But that's part of what makes me love it, is it's just so bizarre, and especially if you're getting all the references to the lines that are being included, it just feels like you're swirling in the best way.
That's great. Thanks.
Yeah, in the fever dream sense of if you're having a night out on town and you're feeling a little claustrophobic, it's a little sweaty, it's a little loud.
It's a little drug fueled.
Yeah.
The fun's
had a few
getting to be a little
drinks.
too much, yeah.
Yep.
You're not having fun, then you're having so much fun, and yeah, we've all had those nights out, right?
And sometimes the result of that is losing your mind.
Well, look who's talking, sitting in a chair. Put my glasses. I heard that. I can't see any animals. I see a bunch of animals. At least you have a parasol. It's my Santa Jack's It's your fault.
And so next up is Losing My Mind, which also has You Could Drive a Person Crazy. Love those two together. And the vocal backing for this is so distinctly of this genre, and it really adds that flavor that makes it feel so different from the original, if that makes sense. They go together quite logically, both about losing your mind and being crazy. At what point in the process of coming up with all of this did you realize that this was going to be kind of your title of the album, beginning and ending section? Was it kind of one of the early things after The Miller Son, or was it just as you're going through, like, oh, this could actually work well as the way to begin and end the album?
Well, as soon as we had voiced out loud Sondheim Disco Fever Dream, I think the next thing somebody said was like, well, or we say like Losing My Mind, that's similar vibe. And then the whole title was just there spoken in front of us. And when you have a gift presented in a conversation like that, you just take it and go, okay, so now we have Losing My Mind, a Sondheim Disco Fever Dream.
Yeah.
There was a lot of, should it be Disco Sondheim Fever Dream, but in the spirit of before and afters categories on Wheel of Fortune and Jeopardy,
But we knew that we wanted this to be the sort of like climax, the ending of the, how to like wrap up the evening was using this song. Was decided, a little bit later on that we wanted to also open with this tune, and then even later in the order of putting it all together was the transition out of Hot Up Here into the top of Losing My Mind, Drive Person Crazy, which is a dual reference to Hot Stuff, the disco song, and Fogg's Asylum from Sweeney. So like we're entering the asylum, we're leaving the hot stuff behind, and then we're getting into the actual, Drive Person Crazy, Losing My Mind section. So yeah, it all ended up working.
I seem to recall at that same like coffee meeting of like, well, people are going to say we're crazy, and I think we just
lean into it.
Yeah.
Like, all right, like give them what they expect without doing so.
Yep. I love it.
You're crazy. You're a lovely person. You're a moving, deeply maladjusted, never to be trusted, crazy person. Yourself. Or am I losing my mind?
But then the fun's not over, because we have the mega mix with Take Me to the World. I love starting it with the overture from Merrily is just such a high energy way to kick off anything. And then we're rapidly going between things on the album, not necessarily in order. And some of these transitions are really fun in their own right as well.
We'll find a new way of living. We'll find a way of forgiving.
not the biggest fan of Megamixes always. Part of that might just be because I associate it with Andrew Lloyd Webber. But
Yeah.
but if anything in the world deserves a Megamix, it's this album. And then to not leave it just as the songs that were previously on the album, but to add Take Me to the World for the end is such an interesting choice that I feel like a lot of people would not want to introduce a new song in the Megamix at the end. Did you at first think about not having a new song in there, or was that kind of always we want to have a Megamix with one more for the road?
It's a good question. I think that we had talked about Take Me to the World as a possible like standalone song on the album, but couldn't really figure out the right, disco feel for it or the right fit for it or like how it fit in thematically with the rest. But then when we were talking about how to close out the evening and with the Megamix, I think we felt that it could be used really well as a sort of goodbye or an encore or like a thesis statement at the end of the piece. And it then felt pretty natural to like put it in as the end of the Megamix, just as like just one more fun surprise before we left.
Yeah, and I think we knew pretty early we wanted a Megamix. Because, we were throwing spaghetti at the wall and the idea came out and we said yes. There's a lot of yes-anding in this project.
Yes.
Sadly, the food is the only thing on the floor. But I mean, the thing that's most interesting to me is how little, if anything, we went into the project and would add to the arrangements. And there was not...
Yeah, we didn't cut hardly anything.
Like, we had such a clear idea going into that process that we could then look at what we had and adjust from there. But our idea to execution stayed pretty consistent. I mean, the only ones that went through, like, multiple drafts were figuring out how to get the opening right. Yeah.
Definitely the Artists Are Bizarre sequence went through multiple drafts.
Yes.
Yep.
I'm sure I was fighting for TikTok the whole time.
Right. And then I think the ending of the Megamix too, specifically after Take Me to the World, how we actually wanted to like really button the album went through a few different drafts.
Let me see the world with clouds. Take me to the world. Out where I can push through crowds. Take me to the world. Just hold my hand whenever we arrive. Take me to the world where I can be alive.
But I think we both knew we wanted the I Wish in there. And then the Everybody Rise melody I wanted in there too.
Yeah.
At the end. So.
A very subtle but wonderful nod with that one. And yeah, what better way to end a Sondheim album than I Wish? It's a great button.
Yeah, because like you said about the end of No One Is Alone, it's like it feels like an ending, but it also feels like a cliffhanger, and that's really what we wanted.
I mean, that's what you need to have a second volume coming out, right?
We haven't discussed it. We'll see.
If somebody would like to fund it, you can reach
any
out.
angel investors out there.
We'll gladly take a meeting.
I would love another volume of this. So good.
Either that or the Andrew Lloyd Webber Rock and Roll Fever Dream.
Well, I mean, even because at Cat's the Jellicle Ball, which is I love it so much. Like, if you're in town, go see it.
It's excellent.
Now, during intermission, they have Andrew Lloyd Webber tracks that have been remixed, and it's fun to listen to. And I mean, Andrew Lloyd Webber has also DJ'd some sets outside the Majestic before
true.
Phantom closed. That was a fever dream of its own back then.
Indeed it was.
But yeah, I mean, I think, this was conceived 8 years ago. The album came out 6 years ago, which feels loony.
Yeah.
And yeah, who knows? Who knows what
the future
coming
may hold.
next?
Yeah. Is there a track on this album that you're particularly proud of?
I think the most satisfying one to me is Unworthy of Your Love, actually. I think I love Anyone Can Whistle. I love Forum. And I I probably like was least familiar with Assassins. I've never actually seen a production of it, and I've listened to it, but not as heavy on rotation as some of the other Sondheim scores. But I really do love that song, and knew that it would work well as more of an up-tempo duet. And I think like the way that those three songs ended up coming together in the arrangement and ended up reaching a really satisfying entrance of Unworthy of Your Love, I'm really proud of that one.
Yeah, and any of those vocal lines at the end, you could isolate and just enjoy listening to.
Right,
And
the
it's,
individual riffs from our background singers. Yeah.
oh, it's wonderful chaos.
Yep. And I worked with Allison Luff on Escape to Margaritaville, and was just thrilled that she was interested in this project. And I think her voice is just stunning, and her with Blaine, it just blends so beautifully on that track.
Yeah, and every voice on this album feels completely perfect for the vision that you had. And like I said, it just all has such a laser focus, and I think that's what makes it successful. So
Thanks.
Thank you for putting this out into the world.
I mean, it's like choosing your favorite child. I was
So
listening.
you have one,
to
but
the
don't want
thing
to say
and
it out loud.
I don't know. Today, I guess if I had to choose today, it's hot up here in the city on fire.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just that's the one that I have a friend who will come up and be like, oh, he'll quote something from it. He doesn't know either of the shows, but he listens to it at the gym, and I think that's wonderful that the album also introduced Sondheim's work to a new audience in a different way, and also the collaboration of we had 5 vocalists on
that one.
On that, it's just so much. It's fun and chaotic, and it's just a great moment. But don't make me pick a favorite child.
Okay. Well, thank you both again so much for talking through this album with me and my nitty-gritty questions that I'm just so fascinated about. If people want to keep up with what you're doing, what's the best way for them to do that?
Yeah, I think my website is probably the best. I'm Scott-Wasserman.com. And the next big projects that I'm working on that you can check out are Freak the Mighty, a new musical that's doing a co-production between Cleveland Playhouse and Seattle Rep, if you're in either of those cities. And then I'll be working on Wanted, coming to Broadway this fall, starting previews in October.
And then I'm over on Instagram at Joshua_Hinck, or on Venmo at Joshua Hinck, no underscore. And then website is the same, joshuahinck.com. And I'll post about what performances I have upcoming or things that I'm involved with as they pop up.
Excellent. The podcast you can find on Instagram at Little Things You Hear Together. You can email me any questions, comments, or concerns at littlethingsyouheartogether@gmail.com. As always, follow, rate, review the podcast. Very much appreciated. All the normal things that we say. And after this, there'll be a little bit of a break before the next season. But hopefully this episode will inspire everybody to go and listen to this wonderful album. Thank you so much, Joshua and Scott, for being with me.
Thank you.
Thank you for having us, and thank you for your, love of the album. We really, really, really appreciate it.
It's been fun to revisit it.
Yeah.